welcome back to my first video of 2023. It's been very hard to balance recently, trying to work on improving my art and doing more painting, and then also running my business side of things, because even though my business is little at the moment, I have still been working on commissions in the background, and I'm also trying to get some of my prints into physical stores. So the whole process of that has taken time away from actually making art. So over the coming weeks, I need to start making a bit more time of actually painting for myself rather than for just other people or just for my business. Over the Christmas break, I found a book in the library called The Urban Sketching Handbook. I hadn't heard of it before, but there's like a whole series of them. And I found one called Colour First, Ink Later. It was written by Mike Yoshaki Daikubara, whose name I've probably completely mispronounced. The name's on the screen if you want to look him up. And it's his follow-up book from his first one, which I haven't yet read, called Sketch Now, Think Later. So the premise behind this whole technique is that before putting ink down on a page, you actually put your watercolour down, and then once the colour's down, you put ink over it and then add a few more details with some more watercolour afterwards. So probably a couple years ago I was playing around with this method, but through a lot of other artists' work that I consume online, they are usually putting down their ink first and then painting over that, and that's sort of the progression that I followed as well. And especially last year, I was finding that method very constrictive in that I would have a lovely detailed ink drawing of something, and I'd be almost too afraid to put watercolour on it because I knew that if I made one wrong move, the drawing will be ruined by choosing a wrong colour or accidentally going out of the lines, stuff like that. So when I found this book, I thought, wow, I really want to give this a go, and it sounds perfect for urban sketching, especially when you're just trying to do sort of a loose sketch and move on with your life afterwards. So that's why I went out today to try and experiment a bit more with this different technique where I put the watercolour down first and then start adding ink lines. I think this has also been my first plein air sketching of this year as well, and as soon as I started painting, I remembered how rusty one can get when they don't actually go outdoors and paint that much. So looking back while I was painting this, I still felt very rigid and almost not confident with the whole situation, and I think that does reflect in the end result of my sketch. It's nice, but it is lacking a bit of feeling, and the only thing that can fix that is going out more often. And coming back to the book and its method of colour first, ink later, I think that's why I'm so attracted to it, because it sort of sells the idea that you can sort of do a quick painting in 15 minutes and get that practice in, and it doesn't take so much time to try and get every detail right. So I'm going to keep on playing with that, and hopefully I'll see a little bit of improvement, if not in my sketching abilities, then more in my confidence and my paintings not looking so rigid. Anyway, that's just a little update from me. I'd be interested to know if you play with watercolour. Do you usually put ink lines down first and then paint? Or are you more of a paint first and then ink later? Or do you put any lines down at all? Do you just chuck colour onto the page and it just turns out magnificently well? If you do, I'm very jealous. I'll see you again in another video, which will probably be in a month's time, but you never know. Maybe I'll try and get out 2 videos, but I'm not promising anything.